a very warm welcome. You're watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant. The top stories first. Coronavirus claims 17 more lives across the country. Death toll rises to 937. Clean feed likely to increase cable TV fare for customers. Service providers say it is costly to install equipment required for clean feed. Short supply of flowers likely during Tihar. Flower dealers attribute this to delayed festival this year. Unrest erupts over police killing of black man near Portland. Hundreds of people gather for the vigil. And champions Liverpool climb back to the top of the table. Chelsea and Manchester City produce important wins. And now the news in detail. The government has confirmed 2,508 new cases of coronavirus across the country during the latest rounds of tests. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the total caseload of coronavirus in the country has now climbed to 170,743, while the number of active cases is 38,584. Meanwhile, the death toll from coronavirus has climbed to 937 across the country, with a confirmation of 17 more fatalities yesterday. So far, 131,222 persons have recovered from the disease in Nepal. Nepal is currently among the top 33 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. Cable service providers and distributors have said that the charge of broadcasting television channels in Nepal may rise after the implementation of clean feed. The distributors argue that the charge for airing foreign channels in the country is likely to go up as the foreign countries will have to provide a separate clean feed for Nepal. They also pointed out the challenge posed by the ban on foreign advertisement in Nepal with the implementation of the advertisement policy. They say that the new laws are a great challenge to the overall management and regulation of the advertisement market. It has been more than a week since the government implemented clean feed in Nepal, but several cable service providers have halted their service as they are unable to set up the necessary equipment required for implementing clean feed. The service providers say that the cost of such equipment is very high and they have to bear the additional expense for the use of satellite. Therefore, they argue that the customers might have to bear additional charge if the clean feed is to be implemented. Chairman duo of the ruling Nepal Communist Party, KP Sharma Oli and Pushpa Kamal Dahal, have met each other after 11 days. The chairman duo met yesterday at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar and reportedly discussed about the modus operandi of the government as well as the party. Executive Chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal arrived at Balwatar to meet another co-chairman as well as Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli at around 1:15 in the afternoon yesterday. The chairman duo discussed about the recent conflict that has surfaced in the party, informed Chairman Dahal's press advisor Bishnu Sapkota. Both the chairmen have been optimistic about convening the secretariat meeting, Sapkota added. The chairmen, however, are yet to fix the date of the secretariat meeting. Likewise, the chairman duo also reportedly discussed about the Prime Minister's meeting with the Chief of India's Intelligence Wing, RAW, as well as Karnali dispute and assassination of a cadre in Parsa district. Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel has said that the task to return the economy to pre-COVID times is going to be Herculean. He says the risk of coronavirus infection has had a serious impact on the country's production and employment sector, which has led to a contraction in the economy. In a meeting with reporters of the Society of Economic Journalists Nepal, SIJON, Finance Minister Paudel claimed that even though the contracted economy may not go back to normal soon, the government will try its best to bring it back to normal. Minister Paudel stressed on increasing production and creating employment by adopting health awareness. Minister Paudel also clarified that in order to protect the lives and livelihoods of people, employment opportunities will have to be increased within the limits of the current situation. Rotary Foundation has helped Tripti Memorial ENT Hospital in Tilathi Koilari Rural Municipality with medical equipment worth 12.5 million rupees. The latest equipment required for air treatment has been handed over to the hospital by former chief of a Rotary Club, Kathmandu, on Saturday. The hospital stated the equipment will boost the hospital's air treatment department. The service will begin within 2 weeks after installing the equipment and making other necessary arrangements, informed Dr. Anil Kumar Jha. And now the news from the economic front. With the festive season pushed back by a month, the availability of marigold flower for Tihar is expected to drop because the flower has already blossomed for this year. The flower market comes to life during the festival of Tihar. However, this year there is growing worry that there will be short supply of flowers in the market due to the timing of the Tihar festival. The marigold generally blossoms in early to mid-October, which coincides with the Festival of Light. However, with the festive season pushed back by a month, the marigold, which has already blossomed, may not be available during Tihar. However, the flower farmers say that they have planted the seeds according to the calendar and the commercial flowers will be available in time for the Tihar festival.
देखि 20 दिन पछाडी तिहार धकालिँदाखेरि हामीले सामान्यतया जसले व्यावसायिक चाहिँ फूल खेती गर्छन् उहाँहरूलाई समस्या छैन किन भन्दाखेरि त्यो क्यालेन्डर अनुसार चाहिँ फूल उत्पादन भइरहेको हुन्छ जसले चाहिँ तपाईको आफ्नो बारीमा जुन व्यावसायिक खेती नगरिकन त्यतिकै जुन खालको एउटा घरेलु हिसाबले जुन काम गरिरहेको छ फूल उत्पादन गरिरहेको छ ती चाहिँ उत्पादनहरू चाहिँ तिहारसम्म नरहन सक्छ।
Last year in Tihar, 2.5 million garlands were sold, of which 2 million was marigold, while 500,000 were the globe of Amarnath. This year, the demand is expected to drop due to the effect of coronavirus pandemic. The Floriculture Association has claimed that this year the demand for the flower will drop to 1.2 to 1.5 million. The association also added that the cost of the flower will also increase this year.
हामीले यो वर्षको लगभग चाहिँ 12 देखि 15 लाख माला चाहिँ जुन डिमान्ड छ देशमा यो माला हामी हाम्रो आफ्नै उत्पादनले चाहिँ तपाईको फुलफिल हुन्छ भन्ने हाम्रो चाहिँ तपाईको हाम्रो आँकडा अहिले तथ्याङ्कले त्यस्तो देखाउँछ र अब मूल्यको कुरा गर्दाखेरि त अब जनरली यो बजारमा जुन जुन वस्तुहरुको चाहिँ तपाईको जुन अब यो मुद्रास्फीतिको दरमा जुन खालको मूल्य वृद्धि हुन्छ त्यो जनरल मूल्य वृद्धि हुनु स्वाभाविक कुरा हो।
The flower business owners claim that the local market will be able to handle the demand and that there would be no need to import any flowers from across the border. Welcome back, and now the international news. Tensions boiled over into unrest this weekend following a vigil for a black man shot and killed by a law enforcement in a city near Portland, Oregon in southwestern Washington state. According to AP, mourners gathered in Hazel Dell, an incorporated area of Vancouver, Washington, where family and friends say Kevin E. Peterson Jr., 21, was shot Thursday night. The city is about 12 miles north of Portland. Hundreds of people gathered for the vigil Friday evening, with some holding signs reading "Honk for Black Lives," "White Silence is Violence," and "Scream his name." Nearby tensions flared between left and right-wing protesters. Video recorded by journalists in a parking lot showed two groups of people shouting at each other. Authorities declared an unlawful assembly and ordered protesters to disperse. Family and friends had described Peterson as a former high school football player and the proud father of an infant daughter. In a statement, Clark County Sheriff Chuck Atkins said a joint city-county narcotics task force was conducting an investigation just before 6 p.m. Thursday and chased a man into the parking lot of a bank where he fired a gun at them. A firearm was recovered at the scene, Atkins said. Data on Saturday showed a record 90 million Americans have voted early in the U.S. presidential election, Reuters reported. According to the news agency, U.S. President Donald Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden campaigned across the country to try to sway the few remaining undecided voters. The high number of early voters, about 65% of the total turnout in 2016, reflects intense interest in the contest with 3 days of campaigning left. Concerns about exposure to the coronavirus at busy election day voting places on Tuesday have also pushed up the numbers of people voting by mail or at early in-person polling sites. The Republican president is spending the closing days of his re-election campaign criticizing public officials and medical professionals who are trying to combat the coronavirus pandemic, even as it surges back across the United States. Opinion polls show Trump trailing former Vice President Biden nationally, but with a closer contest in the most competitive states that will decide the election. Voters say the coronavirus is their top concern. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Champions Liverpool returns back to the top of the Premier League after they came back from a goal down to beat West Ham United by 2-1. In-form forward Diogo Jota scored in the 85th minute to hand the Reds all 3 points at Anfield. The win takes their tally of unbeaten games at Anfield to 63, a record set by Bob Paisley's all-conquering side between 1978 and 1981. Earlier, the Reds had to come back from a goal down as Pablo Forlan scored in the opening minute of the game. Liverpool's Egyptian forward Mohamed Salah won the penalty and scored it himself in the 42nd minute to restore parity in the match. The win takes Liverpool to the top of the Premier League table for the first time since winning it last season. In other matches, Manchester City defeated resilient Sheffield United by a solitary Kyle Walker goal. City are now 8th in the table with 11 points. Chelsea won comfortably at Burnley with goals from Hakim Ziyech, Kurt Zouma and Timo Werner. The 3 important points took the Blues' tally to 12, which pushed them up to 4th in the table. Today, Manchester United will take on Arsenal in a battle of the old foes of English football, while Everton will take on Newcastle to climb back to the top of the table. Mumbai Indians and Sunrisers Hyderabad both won their matches in the Indian Premier League yesterday in a day of low-scoring performances. The first match of the day was between league leaders Mumbai Indians and third-placed Delhi Capitals. The Capitals were put into bat first after Mumbai won the toss, which turned out to be a good decision as the team from Delhi were bundled out for 110 runs in the allotted 20 overs. The table toppers won the match with a man-of-the-match performance from Ishan Kishan, who scored 72 from 47 deliveries to help Mumbai reach the Delhi total with 5 overs to spare. In the second match of the day, second-placed Royal Challengers Bangalore was defeated by Sunrisers Hyderabad. Sunrisers won the toss and put RCB to bat first. Man of the match, Sandeep Sharma, took 2 for 20 in his allotted 4 overs to restrict the team from Bangalore to 120 runs in their 20 overs. In reply, Sunrisers completed their chase in the 14th over and won the match to climb to the 4th in the table. Today, Chennai will take on Kings 11 Punjab, while Kolkata will take on Rajasthan Royals in the Indian Premier League. We are at the end of Janata Bulletins, and the headline once again. Coronavirus claims 17 more lives across the country. Death toll rises to 937. Clean feed likely to increase cable TV fare for customers. Service providers say it is costly to install equipment required for clean feed. Short supply of flowers likely during Bihar. Flower dealers attribute this year to delayed festival. Unrest erupts over police killing of black man near Portland. Hundreds of people gather for the vigil. And champions Liverpool climb back to the top of the table. Chelsea and Manchester City produce important wins. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.